Well, yo, what's up, guys? This is More Minds, and welcome back to another video. I want to talk about why we can't find love. A lot of people are single when they're 20. I wasn't, but I know a lot of people who were. I was single when I was 19. I'm not saying I'm perfect, right? I know a lot of people who are single when they're 25. Uh-oh. That might be you. I know a lot of people who are single when they're 30. Uh-oh. Now it's starting to get a little lonely. Now we're halfway to 60. What are we doing? Where are they? Right? I know a lot of people who are single when they're 40. Eee, that's the worst. No, I'm just kidding. Look, guys. Single or in a relationship, what do you want? If you had a wish, what would you pick? I think it's fair for me to say everybody would say a good relationship. They would take that over being single. I was single for many years, and I didn't have a lot of relationships. Now, I know people who had a lot of relationships when they were young, and now they're single, and they're stuck, and they can't find the one. I hope this video will help you learn more about yourself so you can find your soulmate, so you can find the one for you. We're all unique. We're all different. All of us have a different soulmate, and all of us have a different one. And when I say the one, technically there could be more than one. I'm not saying that there's only one person in this whole universe, this whole world meant for you. But depending on your goals, if you want to get married or if you want to just find a steady relationship, a solid partner, then this is for you, right? So what helped me along my early journey when I was single and I was so confused, like, why am I still single? That's what I always kept asking myself. Why am I still being single? Why am I still single? How can I meet somebody who I really want to be around? Because growing up, I never really wanted to be around girls, and I never really wanted to have a girlfriend, and I never really wanted to go ask girls to be my girlfriend. I was just kind of having fun doing whatever I wanted, right? Racing motorcycles, doing sports, playing games, video games, anything I wanted. I did not care about that. But then I got into middle school and I started really caring about it. And then I got into high school and I really started caring about it. And then I got into college and I really started caring about it. And I said, look, F all that stuff. I'm going to find somebody who I want. So what I had to do was work on myself and know myself, because I was reading books, watching videos, trying to ask myself questions like, why do I not have a soulmate? Why do I not have anybody even close to what I would consider a soulmate? Why don't I have a lot of good options, right? Like, we're living in 2025, but anyways, back then, still, we're living in the year 2000 plus. Technology is incredible. There's people everywhere. Social media. What's going on? Why are more people single now than ever before? And that's because a lot of us growing up don't ever form an intimate relationship with ourselves. And without that, you can't really interact with another person that way. So for me, it was all about accepting myself, because I had so many flaws in my mind of myself. And without knowing it, if you have flaws, if you think there are flaws about yourself that are so bad, then it's going to block your ability to love somebody else. Let me say that one more time. If you have flaws that you think are really bad about yourself, it blocks your ability to love somebody else. Why? Because if you sit there and say, I look terrible, I'll put myself on blast. I have a big nose. it looks crooked from certain angles. My skin, I used to have a lot of acne. My skin is full of zits. What else? You know, every man wants a bigger you know what, right? Don't lie if you're a guy. You know what I'm talking about. Especially when you're younger and it's growing and you're like, come on, hurry up. Like, and we compare ourselves to things we see, things that we see at a young age. You look at an adult in adult films and you think, why am I not like that yet? And when you're 12, I know I'm not the only one, right? So, you know, this is an interesting time to be alive because nobody really talks about this stuff, even though it's everywhere on the internet. And that all is part of why you can't find someone, why you can't find your soulmate or your wife or your reflection, your soulmate, right? Because you have to be so confident and happy with yourself to attract the right person. Anybody can go out and find somebody and be in a start a relationship with them. And if it's not working, a lot of people stay in it. Don't stay in it. Really take your time, because the universe is going to put you in the correct place at the correct time to find the correct person. If it's meant to be, it will. So just trust in that and let that flow. And that's really how I met my wife. I just let it flow. I did not have any intentions on getting married. I had no intentions on taking it seriously. And that's really the difference from my previous relationships when I was in elementary school, high school, college, until I found and met my wife, which was obviously my most recent relationship that I'm in. The difference from finding my ex to finding my wife was the mindset I had when I met my ex was, I'm horny and she's pretty and I know what to do. I know and I want to do, right? And it's just lust. That's what it was. And it's like, yeah, I'll listen to her talk. I'll do this and I'll do that. And there's an exchange. There's an exchange of sexual energy, of emotional energy, of mental energy as well. Just the conversations that you have with people. But what happens is that just because they look perfect to you doesn't mean they are perfect for you. And that's where a lot of us get mistaken, is that just because they're eye candy doesn't mean they're mind candy. You think they look perfect, but actually they taste like crap. I'm thinking about candy still. There's candies that look great, but they taste like crap. There's a lot of people like that. They look perfect on the outside, and then you wouldn't want to have anything to do with them once you see them when they are comfortable, when they are in their comfortable environment. People show a mask when they're outside in the public. And what we are taught by society is that we need to fall in love with the mask that we see outside. But actually, that's not the real person at all. And you have to be very careful, because people like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, right? She's insane. And, nobody would know but just by looking at her, but all the things that happened slowly started to show. And poor guy, right? He probably fell for the same trap. It's like, look, people change and you never know you can't control the future. But at the same time, especially growing up, my parents, friends' parents, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are married or together and they're not happy in their relationship, but they're like, we just want to have kids, or, we just do it for the money because 2 incomes is better than 1. And there's so many different things that add up. And growing up, I was like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to just settle with somebody, because it's not a small commitment. Like, hopefully forever. If you're happy and evolving together, the goal is forever. And the biggest thing that changed for me, what allowed me to find my soulmate, to find my wife, to find that wifey material, was for me to let go of my lust and let my own presence and my own consciousness guide me to where I needed to be. Instead of just looking at women and saying, she's beautiful or she's not. I want her physically or I don't. Now, of course, looks matter, because if you're not even at least mostly satisfied by the looks, then it might not work out in the long run. That's just a lot of the ways how we're designed. But at the same time, looks aren't everything. Don't think your soulmate is the one based on looks. You have to spend a lot of time with people in order to get to know them. You don't usually know somebody until several months, if not years. So don't rush the process. There's a funny show that I watch with my wife sometimes called Love is Blind. I don't believe love is blind, because physical attraction is a huge part of love and relationships. However, the good thing about the show is that they spend a lot of time communicating through a door. And it sounds weird, but at the same time, it's good because you just get to know the person. But at the same time, the show is really short. And it's like, that's nowhere near enough time to actually get to know someone, because it's very different once you actually step into reality and you're faced with problems, right? But it's like the biggest shift for me that I want to convey to everybody: if you're single and you can't find your soulmate, if you're not happy with the people that you've been around or have dated, your exes, or maybe you've never had a relationship and you're trying to figure out why, you have to create the relationship with yourself first by trying new stuff, going out by yourself, taking yourself to eat. You have to act and embody as if you already have your soulmate, and then it's going to help that draw towards you. So that's what I did. I basically forgot about women and my goals when it comes to having a wife and having a beautiful wife and all this stuff. And I just started to focus on myself and say, what do I love to do? Where do I love to go? Where do I want to travel? Where do I want to see? What do I want to experience? And once I did that, it ended up putting me in the lane. It wasn't the fastest way, but it was the way. And that's the whole thing as well, is don't worry about how much time it takes. There's no limit. There is no limit. Don't put a time on yourself. Just enjoy yourself. Be the love that you want to have from another person. And eventually it will find you. It happened, it worked for me. It is possible. I know it seems like when you're single, you're never going to find anybody. You're definitely not going to find your soulmate. And it's so lonely. And I'm here to say, stay persistent. Keep forming a better relationship with yourself. Keep providing for yourself. Keep taking care of yourself. And keep pushing yourself to try new things, to travel. And eventually, like, here's a quick example. I got into rock climbing a few years ago, and I loved it. I absolutely love it. And I never knew I did, because when I was a kid and my parents told me, go climb the wall, I said, that looks scary. I don't want to do that. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine right here on the ground, and I'll just watch. That's what I said. And then a few years ago, I tried it, and I fell in love with it, and I did it every day for hours. And now it was just funny to me, because I was like, something that I thought I never enjoyed when I was younger, and I had pushed myself to do it. Well, I found one of the biggest passions in my life. Same thing with golfing. totally opposite than rock climbing, but still, I thought, oh, that's a boring game. Sounds boring and stupid. That's for old guys or whatever. I ended up trying it with a bunch of friends on my bachelor party, and it was a great time. And I was like, I get it now. I get it why guys love to do this, why people love to do this, why girls love to golf. A lot of people love to golf all around the world. It's a great time. It's a beautiful place in nature where the grass is actually greener if you're at a good course, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful place to be. And something like that, where if I never pushed myself to try something new, I would have never known that I had a passion for it and that I really enjoy doing it. So let's wrap up this video by saying, if you're still single, take a deep breath and say, I am love. I am infinite. I have soulmates. I am perfect. I am enough. And I am going to attract love at the right time. Don't rush the process. Take your time. And before you know it, it's going to be here. So be happy now. Start smiling now. Be excited now, because it's going to be here quicker than you know it, quicker than you realize it. And now that I've found my wife and I can say I'm happy and fulfilled with my relationship, trust me, it came way faster than I thought it would. And it was effortless. Now, of course, there's sacrifices that I made, but those were sacrifices of love. Those were labor. That was labor of love. It didn't feel like work. It didn't feel like chores, because I wanted to do it. And when you surround yourself with the correct people for you, then you just want to keep doing it and have fun. And have a great day. I hope this video shed some light on being single and being in a relationship. I'll see you guys in the next video.